And Toronto, 7 from 8, their only setback in Toulouse.
Stay behind here, guys.
Really looking forward to this one. Pat Walker, his second spell at Sheffield. Sheffield will kick us off, playing from right to left in this first half, and it is Walker who gets this one underway. So Toronto should have possession first up, and it's Ricky Latelli who collects it.
One, move! Hold 10, hold, go.
Immediately work the ball over to that left-hand side. Anthony Thackeray in there.
2, move!
Tom Olberson,
Go.
ball carrier for Toronto. Here is Ashton Sims now.
3, Matt, move! He's 10, hold,
Turned
go.
from a 4-game absence at Halifax. He's on the substitutes bench, but starts today, and they've filtered the ball well for Chase Stanley on the right-hand side now. Had support from the debutant Hakim Maloudi. 2 debutants on the Sheffield side as well, Walker and Dan Hindmarsh, incidentally. Here is Sidlow now.
Move! Go.
And the Akers gets the ball away, but pressure on Josh McCrone. It's the kick away, and it's collected well. First up by Josh Guzdeck.
A wonderful start there from the Wolfpack. It's exactly what they wanted to do. They got their forwards all with their hands on the ball and a lovely tidy kick away, so they'd be really happy with the start.
Hold, go.
So Sheffield's turn to show they can do with ball in hand. It's a strong run. Wilkin on defensive duty for the Wolfpack.
Hold, Ashton here, hold.
Ben Blackmore,
Andy.
the victim really, because they've given the penalty away too long in the tackle. And the Akers the guilty party.
That makes it not a tidy start now. After a good set with the ball, you have to complete your defensive set. You can't come up with cheap errors like this, bring the opposition into the game. Unnecessary, probably a bad sign. It means you're not winning your collisions as strongly as you need to be. Let's see how hard and aggressive the Toronto pack is in defence here.
Hold, go.
3 in that first tackle. Comes back for Pat Moran. 1 in Tim Loney.
Well, Moran's making yards in that tackle. It's not a good sign early for Toronto. They'll be looking to be a lot more physical than they are at the moment.
Davey had the ball. This now is Pat Walker. Ashton Sims on the tackle alongside Dixon. It's 15 metres or so away though, Sheffield Eagles, and Matt James, the skipper.
That's the first tackle we've seen there from Toronto, where they're actually dominating and getting them on the back. I think Sheffield are doing really well to find the front at the minute.
Joel Farrell just pulled down a couple of metres short. Desperate defence for Toronto. This is the last chance though for the Eagles. Ball comes across. Danger man is Anthony Thackeray, puts a kick in, and Gareth O'Brien is there. Has he done enough? He hasn't done enough, and that's really good from Sheffield Eagles to force the repeat set.
Yeah, this is now becoming a great start for Sheffield, exactly what they wanted. Taking the physical challenge. We saw a really relaxed Mark Aston pre-game. He's obviously very comfortable with where his team's headspace is at the moment. And you would have to say they've won the physical challenge early.
The only defeat Sheffield have suffered came at Featherstone last month.
Let's have a look at this carry here when the Sheffield player takes it into contact. Does he go backwards or does he go forward? And he's moving forward. That's the dominant position Sheffield are looking for. Toronto really need to pick that up.
That was Ryan Miller with the first carry. Joel Farrell now. Matt James, direct from him, typically. Decades since his Super League debut with Trinity.
They're getting numbers in the tackle there. They're just not winning that collision. Like Tony said, that they need to really sort that out early on, Toronto, because Sheffield really are getting a roll on here.
There's a flick and then towed forward, and Josh Guzdeck does touch the ball down. It's going to be a scrum down.
Really unnecessary error that. You've got to feel the dominance you've got there. They were in space. I could see if he does get a clean pass away, it is looking like a try, but that was a Hail Mary. That was sort of something you don't need to do in a game like this when you are asserting some authority. You really need to pick that up and not be throwing the game and really let Toronto off the hook there.
Ben Halliwell, the man with the error, really. 3 seasons in the capital with the Broncos. He's on dual reg from Ealing, so he will enjoy this one.
Move! All the middle, boys.
That's where they are physical. They're outside backs, Toronto. They're so great with their foot speed, but they just need a bit more power there. Even for Ashley Sims, you want him driving 3 or 4 metres further through that contact like Sheffield were, just to really give his halves a chance to play.
Farrell, Walker with the tackle there on McCrone. It's now Sidlow. Andy Ackers enters the ball to McCrone. O'Brien, really good from O'Brien. Turned a negative situation into a really positive one there, but still can't get the play the ball quickly for Stanley. That's it now. And that was McCrone.
Clear.
Up in the air from Blake Wallace. First test for Sheffield. Robertson immediately in there to make the tackle.
Here's a 10, boys, hold.
Now is a chance for Toronto to rev up. We know Sheffield are coming at them. They're a bit more physical there.
Move at him! Hold, boys. Hold, go.
Toronto now will hunt the mistake. Dixon with the tackle on Guzdeck here.
Move. Hold here, boys, hold. Go.
Davey.
4.
Joel Farrell,
Move. Hold.
former Leeds Academy man.
This is a better.
Carry.
Sorry, but it's a more physical set, Jody, isn't it? This one from the Toronto team. They're still going hard at them here, Sheffield.
Clear.
On the last.
Sorry, I think Sheffield are doing well. They're playing smart at the minute. Other than that risky offload that we saw near the try line, they just need to grind this out, play smart early on, and not let Toronto get a roll on. And I think they're doing really well at that start of the game.
And this is the roll on they're getting, these outside backs in the first couple of tackles. The Toronto guys are getting yards. Here's another play from their outside backs, and you can see they're powering through the ruck now. And this enable, probably off this tackle, you'd see the halves getting over the advantage line rather than playing behind. Yeah, they're playing the ball in front of the advantage line because those backs are dragging them forward. So that's going to need to be replicated by the forwards. Again, over the advantage line, dragging their team over the ad line, which is really good.
Wilkins ball at the line for McCrone, but it has to go back. Skipper. Under pressure there from Matt James. Two captains in opposition, and McCrone gets the ball into the air, and O'Brien, I should say, just Guzdeck. O'Brien like in the right place to collect that.
Go. 2. John, move! Here's 10. Hold. Go.
And Miller with the carry. Wilkin on Blackmore.
3.
He's a competitor, John Wilkin, isn't he? He's in there really trying to do that as a leader in the team, trying to get his shoulder in and just show the other forwards in the pack they really need to whack like that and really take some authority. It's still too many yards there from Sheffield. Toronto, to really assert themselves, need to be more dominant than that. You can see Sheffield are rolling forward now, getting themselves down forward, enjoying the game in many ways.
Really nice run there from James Davey. Nice kick to complete the set. Mark Ashton will be delighted with that.
Well, they will after we mentioned the outside backs of Toronto have been dominating those early carries, so putting the ball dead is a good way to make sure that Sheffield can certainly own these opening tackles of the set, which really throws the challenge back at Toronto. This next set's going to be interesting to see what the Toronto forwards can do. Can they actually start powering over the line?
Yeah, I had that. Yep, okay. And the other way in.
So Toronto
Head in. Shot clock off.
have the scrum.
Out.
It's 10 metres or so from their own line, and Matty Russell, the go-to man to try and get them out of trouble here.
Hold.
It's noticeable, isn't it? Physically he was into that tackle, really using his speed. Another outside back powering there, driving their way through, busting their way through tackles. That gives the teams a chance to play off.
French international Hakim Maloudi with his first involvement, really. And Ackers gets the ball away for Sidlow.
He's been good, Sidlow. He's been the best forward at charge. You see that?
Still holding on to him.
Sheffield can't afford to give away penalties like that, not if they want to beat what is a really strong Toronto side. You can just see that Toronto are taking the ball up in numbers, the outside backs are getting in and getting them a quick roll on. Sheffield seem to be doing really one-up rugby, and that's not really going to challenge this Toronto side. Matt
James was the guilty party there. And then a high shot, they followed it up with back-to-back penalties here, Sheffield. A really gilt-edged chance now for Brian McDermott's men to strike inside the opening 9 minutes.
What are you doing?
Stanley goes himself first up.
That's 1. Move!
Repelled by 2. And the Ackers stretched over here.
No.
Sidlow it is. Referee says held up. Look for a moment as if Adam Sidlow had crashed over the line.
Tackle 2.
Plenty of tackles in the bank now for Toronto.
10 metres.
Andy Ackers. This is Ashton Sims spinning into the tackle.
Move!
Pat Moran over the top. camped under the post. Toronto, Ackers. That was Albison who turned it back for O'Brien, but they shut that play down really well there, Sheffield Eagles.
Gaz O'Brien really is their danger man out the back, and you can see how difficult it is to deal with him, and they're doing well at the minute, Sheffield.
Ashton Sims, this will be the last chance for the Wolfpack. But the danger man Wilkin gets to McCrone. That was brilliant for O'Brien. They could be in here. Chase Stanley, the man who has unlocked the door for the Toronto Wolfpack. 10 minutes on the clock, and the Wolfpack on the board. It looked as if Sheffield had repelled the threat initially, but Chase Stanley is the man who gets in to double his tally for 2019. His second try in the championship, and Brian McDermott's men ahead by 4 points to 0.
Error, back-to-back penalties, magnificent hold-up, so their energy was there, but Wilkin gets the ball, drifts out, and he just puts Josh McCrone in a wonderful position. Jody had called it, Gaz O'Brien's their go-to man, they put him in great position. Wilkin controlled the play, McCrone delivered it, O'Brien was the finishing touches, and Chase Stanley a wonderful try.
You can see here, can't you, that Toronto really have that expansive play in their game, so they know that if they can just defend well and keep Sheffield out, that they will get the ball wide to them danger men, and we see them do it there perfectly. It's trouble there for Sheffield if they can't map out and get to them edges and defend. They're going to be in trouble today.
They really have to be tired. You look at the firepower there. As soon as they got, that was their first turn down on the dance floor to have a look at scoring, and they got it. They got 2 penalties, they score the try. So you go back to the offload down on the line that Sheffield really shouldn't be going for. They've got to control the game. Can't go find this game.
Gareth O'Brien, 27 goals already this year. Looking for 2 more points here. Can't find the target, but Toronto ahead by 4 points to 0.
It's just beautiful play from the playmakers, ball out in front. They build up to all the work had been done beforehand, which made that look so easy. But it was just a good preparation, a good pressure build that that Toronto ended up going through down that end of the field.
Chase Stanley adds to his try at Rochdale in round 2. This is Sidlow now to ramp up again. Oh, he's lost the ball, and the perfect response here for Sheffield. What can they do here? Joel Farrell gets the ball away. That's Glover. Nowhere for James Glover to go, though, but immediately Sheffield on the offensive here. And they've got a penalty as well.
This is where Sheffield need to take advantage of this really great field position. Against Toronto, you're not going to have millions of opportunities at the try line, so when you get in these good positions, especially off the back of a penalty there we've seen given, they need to take advantage and ship it wide, like we can see them trying to play some expansive rugby now.
Aaron Brown, the man stopped by Tom Albison there.
Go.
Thackeray sends it back for Moran. Stopped by opposite number Sidlow. And Wilkin.
Hold, go.
Davies' ball. That was Walker. Fullback Guzdek into the line.
3, move.
Nowhere for Glover to go though, but that's how close Sheffield are to a response here. 13 minutes gone. Comes back across from Walker. That's Thackeray. Still going.
4.
Ricky Latelli holding on. Sidlow downstairs, Albison over the top. Thackeray again. Short pass this time. Stopped by Sims.
Hold the line.
Last one coming up for Sheffield. That was Brown who was repelled. Thackeray throwing a dummy, trying to use some deception there, but they've managed to keep him out, and Toronto survive.
Really solid defence there at Toronto. They really look comfortable.
Let's go.
Went a little bit side to side there, Sheffield, went sort of trying to find holes out wide, but they certainly handled everything really well there, Toronto. And again, we see these outside backs powering them off their line.
Matty Russell with the first carry. Here is Ricky Latelli. Aaron Brown in defence for Sheffield.
Go, play on.
That was McCrone and Dixon.
Really interesting watching Toronto. We often talk pre-game about the packs going at each other and power games, but we're seeing here this man goes O'Brien powering through. You can see here the outside backs are the power in this team. They really drive them in good position, and they take advantage of that play so well.
Wallace escaped one tackle.
5, move.
Throwing the ball around now,
Hold here.
Toronto Wolfpack. Last chance though here.
Before
knock
they play
on.
the ball, so it's going to be a scrum.
It's an untidy play the ball in truth.
Before they play the ball. Shot clock on.
Incredibly untidy. Just unforced error, lack of concentration, unforgivable. And exactly, we said it's a big game, you know, it's a top team playing against a third team. You don't want to see those things as you build through your season. These are things you want to be working out of your games, trying to get your excellence. If you want to go to Super League, you can't be doing that.
Yeah, unforced errors in these tight games are really going to cost Toronto, so they need to make sure they sharpen that up, and otherwise Sheffield are going to take advantage. You can tell how much they want it. They're driving it in strong. They just need to be a bit smarter on the goal line.
Hold. Go.
James Davey, gets the ball away to that left-hand side, but Stanley immediately in there,
Hold.
alongside
Hold.
McCrone.
Go.
It's a really good point you make there, Jody, that Sheffield are in this. Like, look at that, they're winning that collision, they're powering through. They go down there to attack. They didn't get to kick on the last play. They've just got to be more patient. They've got to realise they've just got to earn the game, earn the game, earn the game. They might get the points later. That's wonderful. Little offloads like that, little things that are safe, not the one out the flick out the back. Nice little plays like that will keep them right in this game.
Matt James it was with a really nice offload and good step on the back of that.
Go.
Comes to Joel Farrell.
Yep.
And just on that, that's we just mentioned game control. You need to get to a kick there. Certainly make them think about a repeat set if you can drop one in goal or have to defend a catch. But it's twice now they've run it on the last play. But I think they've got to mix that up.
Joel Farrell, one of their danger men, those Sheffield Eagles, tries in each of his opening 6 matches. Ricky Latelli, though, shut down brilliantly there. Thackeray in there. Ben Halliwell, some really good defence. Here is Russell now.
We've seen so far this season as well how the fitness of the Toronto side really shows late in games. So Sheffield need to make sure that they're smart here and for them really try and get some points on the board early on, because we know how strong Toronto can be in the second half and put some real points on the board late on.
In defensive mode just now though, as Toronto look ominous again, and Ricky Latelli has some space on that left-hand side. Ricky Latelli is trying to barge his way to the line, really did have support on the outside. They want the quick play of the ball. Matty Russell waits, has the ball now, gets the ball to Wallace. Now it's Wilkin and McCrone. O'Brien sells a really nice dummy. Can he get the ball down? He's over the line. Has he managed to touch the ball down there? No, held up, says Matt Rossley, and that is wonderful defence from the Sheffield Eagles.
Oh, what a tackle from the fullback. Gosdek, the body on the line, kept the grip in. Look at him fighting on the ground there. It's as good as scoring a try there in this scenario. But last tackle.
Yeah, as a fullback, that is exactly what you want to do. It's so important that you can make them try-saving tackles, and in games like this, they're really going to count.
Latelli flicks the ball out, and Matty Russell is in. They managed to stop them just 20 seconds ago. But immediately, Toronto Wolfpack switched the ball to their left-hand side, and Matty Russell in the corner. Double figures for the season now for the former Warrington man.
Well, the physical play here from Guzek, we give him a massive rap on that. It needs to be replicated. The ball's on the floor. It's an interesting, didn't go to the video. And off the back of that physical tackle needs to be replicated again on a physical play. There, that tackle needs to be the same as we saw from the fullback. It needed to reward the try-saving attempt on the line there. It wasn't replicated. Latelli's been a handful all day, and he's going to continue to be a handful all day. This is why they score points late, because they are physical early. They break you down, and then you're so exhausted by the end, they're able to capitalise at the back end of games. A wonderful, wonderful build there by the Toronto team, and a lovely finish by Matty Russell.
1 minute, Gareth.
Double figures now for the Scottish international Matty Russell. He's bettered last year's total. Gareth O'Brien looking for double figures for Toronto in this one. Again, wide of the target, but Toronto double their lead. 8 points to 0 now. Brian McDermott's men ahead.
Ricky Latelli's been a handful for Sheffield all game. You can see him, he's got such power. He finds his front, he doesn't panic, and then they go again, and you can see that right to left shift is really good by Toronto. And I think Latelli is, because they know Russell has got such skill on the outside, both danger men. I think Sheffield are in two minds there in that defence, and it was a great shifting try from Toronto.
2 tries in 7 minutes for Toronto, but coughed the ball up in the shape of Blake Wallace here, and Sheffield immediately have a chance to limit the damage in terms of the scoreboard. Made an error after the last try, and they've done exactly the same with that second one from Matty Russell. This time it's Blake Wallace.
There are windy conditions, but that wasn't the wind. That was just a bit of a lack of concentration. I notice he's got some protection on his nose, so the concentration was off at the moment there from Blake Wallace. And again, an unforced error. An opportunity, a genuine opportunity here for Sheffield. Just to play some control. If they can just get in some power and get some offloads away in this set, they will be able to rattle Toronto.
Good hit from Maludi on Glover.
Go.
That was Walker.
2, move! Ashton, hold the line. 1, hold, go.
Moran played the ball. Thackeray, short ball, and they are in. Oliver Davis with the response for Sheffield Eagles. 2 of the top 3, 2 points between them, and Sheffield now showed their class in attack. Oliver Davis, 3 tries now for 2019.
Yeah, and it's unforced errors putting so much pressure on the Toronto team. They're up against a team that really will take it to them. That's just an easy catch. It's a lapse in concentration, and you pay. And you pay, and it's something they need to take out of their game and take out quickly. With full credit to the hole running here from Davies. That's an amazing line. He's really hit that hard, and he presented himself for the halfback. Thackeray had no choice but to put the ball on his chest, and he put it over the line beautifully.
Pat Walker, 29 goals already this year. Managed to pull that wide of the target though. So Sheffield cut the deficit. They trail by 8 points to 4.
Yeah, we see here Sheffield really shifting the ball well, and it's that really good lead line there from Davies, which just Toronto defensive line can't deal with. Committed line, and scores a brilliant try there. And we've seen them trying to hit the left-hand edge, and it's just not quite working with the full-back and Glover there hitting that line, but that right edge with Davies seems to be really causing some problems for Toronto.
4 years since he made his debut with St Helens. Taken by Guzdek.
1, as you move! Hold, boys, hold, go. 2, and a move!
Adds to his try in the Cup against Lee last week.
3, move, Andy!
Matt James played the ball.
4, John, move!
Agency from Blackmore.
Hang on. And you're in the run.
Penalty goes Sheffield's way. Andy Ackers impeding his man. He was on the deck there, and there's no way that Sheffield could play the ball successfully.
Yeah, it's genuinely is. It's 2 now from Ackers, 2 errors, and it's just swinging Sheffield's way halfway through the first half.
Andy Ackers, another one on familiar soil. 21 tries in 48 London appearances back in 16-17. Good ball at the line, finds Farrell. Toronto will have expected a contest, and they're in a contest here. Sheffield right back into this one. Davey for Thackeray.
You're right, Jody, that's where they want to go, and they do look dangerous there out on that edge. It's certainly loosened Toronto up.
4,
Davey.
hold.
Brown waits. Look left, went right. Back from Thackeray.
Move, hold line.
Olberson shuts the door. Last chance coming up for the Eagles. Thackeray. Really good defence from Russell, but they managed to put a kick in here. Comes up at the end for Olberson, I think.
Hand over, boys.
And it's going to be the turnover.
Well, they've seen something in preparation where they decided to run it on the 5th. That's 3 times now when they've been in nice little position. I think in a game like this, to build pressure when you are dominant, when you've got the ability to dominate physically, just be running a couple of those balls into the end goal and looking to get some repeat sets. You don't want to keep on defending these outside backs from Toronto, who are just enjoying coming off their own line.
Yeah, I think maybe in the position where they are near the line, it's they're finishing at least close to the line. But like you say, I think Sheffield need to get the ball to the foot and get it dribbled into the in goal and really test the outside backs. At the minute, Toronto are getting an easy ride and being able to set where they need to and really go at them first few runs in the set.
Wilkin with plenty of time to find McCrone on that occasion. There's the former St Helens man again for Darcy Lussick. Andy Ackers scanning, goes to the right-hand side for McCrone. O'Brien with a really intelligent ball and running an even better ball. Is Maloney over for a debut try? Not for the moment. He's managed to get the ball away though. And again it's promoted and Maloney has it again. This could be a really good try from Toronto. John Wilkin looking for it. He's lost the ball. Really nice handling from Toronto Wolfpack, but John Wilkin just couldn't get the ball down there under control, under real pressure from Thackeray as well, and Guzdek.
That's great scramble defence there from Sheffield. I think when you're behind and you know you're in a tough game, you need people to just make tackles however possible. It doesn't look good, it's scruffy, but and it's another penalty there. That's a let off now. Sheffield are going to get some real good field position and be able to go at Toronto, and you can see that they can test him when they get good field position.
There's that man Ackers again. That's 3 penalties down that end. He's on his own. He's actually putting his team under pressure and letting Sheffield enjoy the game.
Ever present in all 8 Toronto matches. Big hit there coming in from Lussick. It's now Brad Knowles. Just on from the substitutes bench. Davey. That was Walker. No way through though.
And a move.
Sidlow
Hold.
in the tackle there. Now it's Farrell.
4.
Stopped by Lussick.
Here's 10.
Lower that time. Davey. Now Knowles. Thackeray with a dummy, Thackeray with the acceleration, and Olberson just manages to claw his man to the ground. Last chance for Sheffield. Matt James turns the ball around. Oh, just brilliantly to keep hold of it there, Walker. On the last.
We can see there that they did exactly what they should be doing on 5th. They get the ball to ground. Messy, it wasn't scruffy, but, you know, did the best, got the ball to ground, and they're the hard ones to pick up. A knock on from Stanley there as he tries to pick the ball up is exactly what they need to give him great field position.
Unlikely end to the set, but the perfect end to the set as far as Sheffield Eagles are concerned. Back-to-back possession for Mark Aston's men, and look where the Eagles are on the field.
We're having a good look at why Sheffield are where they are in the league and really turned their form around from last season. They just seem to know their jobs, because everybody that does something runs so hard with so much purpose. They seem to know their roles. And you do like the way Thackeray with the ball here now. When he's on the ball, he's a genuine threat because he will run. He will dummy and run. He will pass. He mixes it right up. This is an error they couldn't have afforded. So unlucky there. Blackmore taken in, doing the right thing, using his power, but unfortunately come up with an error. Now they've got to defend that. They've got to get around him and say, listen, we appreciate your efforts. There's a little bit of a hand in there. Hard one for the ref to call. Very, very hard to see that when you can see it going either way. If the ref doesn't see it, he can't call it. The ball's on the ground. It's a knock on.
Andy, make sure you're in, mate.
3 in the tackle for Toronto.
Shot clock off.
And Blackmore pleading his case. Maybe a little fortuitously. Toronto Wolfpack come away with it, but then they've lost the ball.
2 in there.
And that is a ball steal, says the official, Matt Rosley.
Well, we've seen this go back-to-back error into penalty. Exactly. He's unlucky. Felt like he was on his own. You could see what Farrell was thinking when he went into that tackle. Touch unlucky. Haven't found touch. A let-off.
So Sheffield can't bring the ball forward again. Ryan Miller.
Move. Hold. Go.
I think a lot of people had Toronto as going the season unbeaten, and it's errors like that which are stopping that happening, and you can see Sheffield really in the game here, and if they keep doing unforced errors, not making touch on the kicks, that's really going to let Sheffield into this, and they've proven that they can test that Toronto line when they get the chance.
4, move! Hold this 10. Hold, go.
Sheffield over halfway in the shape of James here.
5, and a move!
Wilkin in there, Sidlow in there, Lussick in there. That was Thackeray with the kick. And that so unlucky not to find the sideline there.
It's funny, we've had a look at those 2 stripes on the sideline. If you look at that, you're wondering, visually, you're wondering what the players are seeing. They're seeing 2 lines, and the last penalty kick didn't go out. Was he looking at the wrong line when he's putting it out? We can feel a little bit of empathy about what they're seeing.
Multi-purpose stadium in New River.
1, goal!
It's a good point you're pointing with. Jody was talking about the energy that the Toronto need to find and stop these silly errors, but they are playing in a neutral ground. They have been throwing some challenges that other teams don't have, but they've got to be bigger than that. You know, you can't afford to make areas in these scenarios that the club's got them in.
Wilkin. That's Lussick.
4, James, move!
4 gone already for Toronto, but in a attacking position here. Mullally, can he get the ball away under pressure there from Brad Knowles?
5, move!
Last one, Ackers picks up. Ackers just puts a really nice kick in.
I've got backwards Sheffield. Yeah, backwards Sheffield that knock on Toronto. That's very scratch
Toronto
Sheffield.
knock on.
No, it's going to be back to 1. Shot clock on.
It is the right call too. You see Ackers was the guy that drops on his foot. Always going back, and then he knocks it on there. So it should be a Sheffield ball coming off their own line. The unhappy game for Andy Ackers continues.
Yeah, he's been unlucky there. You can see what he was thinking, and he's trying to get there. He's trying to get to the line, but you know, couldn't quite pick that ball up cleanly to get the try. And Toronto may come to regret some of them small errors there, where they get in close to the Sheffield line and not quite putting the points on the board.
Difficult 31 minutes for Andy Ackers, but his team are ahead by 8 points to 4. Sheffield looking for parity. It's Blackmore who played the ball. Big hit from Lussick. Mullally in there.
4, move!
Yeah, it's a great point. It's interesting.
Slow there.
Again, a penalty there from Mullally. Got a bit tangled up. You feel like that Lussick and Mullally might add a bit more punch to the Toronto team. They might be, you know, we've been seeing a lot of power out of the outside backs, but not so. Sidlow had a couple of big carries. I feel like these 2 guys might put a bit more crunch, a bit more whack, and a bit more venom into the running game of the Toronto side.
You can see that Toronto have got Wilkin playing in more of a ball-playing role, and I think that's where maybe the forwards are not necessarily got that go forward the same, but it's given him a lot more room to expand and get them on the edges, where we can see they've got the talent on with Russell and really, really good talent there with O'Brien getting him wide. So I think it's one of them. Is what would you prefer? Is it that go forward in the middle, or is it using them outside backs? And I think it's worked so far for Toronto this season, really hammering them edges.
Makelin played the ball. Thackeray in a really good position, as he does centrally, just 7 metres or so away, but O'Brien in the right place, tidies up the danger. Now Toronto can build again. That's Blake Wallace coming into hooker for Latelli. Davis among the tacklers, alongside Davey there for Sheffield, and now Matty Russell gets away from the first tackler. Can't get through Sadiq Adibi though.
He's having a terrific game, isn't he, Matty Russell? Busy, scoring his tries, doing everything asked of him.
Adibayi, 2 Super League appearances with London already this year. Started against Castleford, a substitute against St Helens. Meanwhile, here is Ricky Latelli. Ball was stolen, so Toronto will continue in a minute.
Yeah, you can see there another ball steal, and that's, I think, really, they'd lost the contact there, and it was just hands on the ball, and it's come loose. I don't know whether that's necessarily a tactical ball steal, but they do need to get a bit smarter there, get the body and front shoulder in, and make sure they're dominating Toronto, because you can see them starting to run away with it and really making them hard yards in the middle now.
Lussick with a typically strong first carry. On the back of that is Ackers. This is Olberson back on the inside. Adebayo downstairs. 6 minutes to the break. Toronto looking to extend this lead, and Wallace almost through. Really important tackle from Adebayo there. Andy Ackers again. Now it's Wilkin. Now McCrone. O'Brien. Familiar pattern. Chase Stanley gets the ball back for the fullback O'Brien.
Goal line. Go.
Stanley again. This time it was Dixon. Now McCrone. Some work for Wilkin, and almost an intercept there.
Knock on Sheffield.
It was Thackeray who was looking for it.
Shot clock on. Here you guys here.
This Thackeray just poaching out in the line there. Has now put his team under a lot of pressure. It was tackle 4. They pretty much defended their set well. You felt like he would have been better off holding shape there. If they score this set, Toronto, I think he'll regret that little grab at that ball. He's having a terrific game. He's working hard. He's putting himself in great places. He's having a difficult time with the telly down that left edge, but most people do.
Shot clock off. Out.
Thackeray nearly 200 tries at this level. And the Wolfpack looking for one of their own here. Chase Stanley stopped there by Joel Farrell downstairs.
Hey, Chase. You all right, mate? Wait. Tackle 1.
Gets to his feet uncomfortably to play this. Mullally.
2. Move, Brad!
Camped under the post now. Ackers. That's Wilkin looking for the line. 3 in there to prevent that happening.
Release! Go, play on.
Ackers going to go himself here. Manages to dump the ball across, and Olberson. Has he got the ball down there? He managed to get over the line there, Tom Olberson. He has got the 4 points, and Toronto do extend this lead. Tom Olberson, just 4 minutes short of half-time with a crucial 4-pointer. His first in the championship this year. And the former Widnes man opens his account for 2019 at the perfect time.
Well, the repeat set was too much to handle for the Sheffield side. Thackeray came out, went for an intercept, put them under pressure, but then off a crazy fast play the ball from Wilkin. He was being driven backwards, and somehow he spun out of the tackle and played the ball with defenders behind him, at which point the Sheffield players were calling for a bit of a knock-on from Olberson when he was putting the ball down. As Ackers went for the line, he found a little pass over the back to Olberson. He was on the spot, he used power, he got there, and the try has been awarded. Let's have a look at this when he goes to the ground. He does... Oh, looks okay from there. You could see what they were looking at. It's a bit of a juggle when the ball was coming down, but he seemed to regain it and keep his fingers on as it went down.
Gareth O'Brien looking for his first success with the boot this afternoon. 10-point lead for Toronto. The Wolfpack ahead now by 14 points to 4.
As you said there, Tony, it was Wilkins' quick play the ball. They didn't get him to ground, and then that was it. Ackers then took that opportunity to go at the line. Great offload, and Olberson did well there to get that ball down. Brilliant there. Yeah, you can see there was a bit of a fumble, but I think he does get that down. He's got downward pressure, and that's great for Toronto. They've had a lot of pressure on the Sheffield line, and they've took advantage with the points now.
Can they catch this kickoff?
O'Brien underneath it, does collect successfully and brings in Darcy Lussick now.
1. Don't move!
Ben, this becomes an important set. After all the other tries, they have made an error. They need to get to a kick. They need to... This is a great little carry there. They're over the advantage line. Yeah, quick play the ball. Wilkins driving the team forward. That's a wonderful carry. Now they're powering through. Now they're powering through the sets. This is good stuff. Moving forward.
Brad Fash with some impetus there from the bench.
4. Move Ollie!
Huge set. They're way down over the 30 now and on the attack.
Wallace. O'Brien. Now Wilkin. McCrone, this would be a real blow for Sheffield if Toronto were to strike again here. Fash with the pass. That's Dixon. inside the last 90 seconds first half. Last chance for Toronto. It's McCrone with a crossfield kick. This will be a real test. Latelli was chasing it, and in the end, it's Thackeray who just hammers the ball dead there.
Oh, that was the set of the game from Toronto. That was just power. The two subs have come on and really powered their way into this. They did catch the kick off for the first time. They've got themselves downfield. Here is the contest. Yeah, puts it dead. So now we're going to see a drop out to Toronto. Toronto looking very, very hungry. It's a scrum. So we've seen a knock-on in the field of play. Okay. Still Toronto's ball, still in a wonderful position.
Shot clock off. Out.
Knock on there from Ben Helliwell. Does put Toronto in a great position here, and McCrone can't escape the tackle there. Really important contribution from James Glover. Quick play the ball though for Ackers, and now Brad Fash. Only a minute or so ago he's been on the pitch. So close there. Andy Ackers throws a dummy. And Andy Ackers, has he got over the line? He has. And it is back-to-back tries at the end of this first half for Toronto Wolfpack. They extend the lead, 18 points to 4 with the kick to come. Andy Ackers, we said he's had an indifferent first half an hour, but he's provided the perfect contribution there inside 60 seconds to go to the break.
Oh, it would have been almost harder not to score that one after the work that Fash had done. Look at the play of the ball. There's no one ready to defend that one. Well done, Andy Ackers. Well, great composure. Great way to finish the half off. But this is the carry. Look at the power here, bumping blokes off. 4 blokes on the ground. Beats into his feet, plays the ball. Ackers is free to put that ball over the line. Wonderful bit of play. Wonderful impact from the bench from the Toronto forward packs. Lussick, Mullally, Fash have been outstanding since they've come on.
Been the difference really for Toronto, but a real hammer blow, those 2 quick tries. The back end of this first period, Sheffield were competing after they got on the score sheet themselves. This would give the Wolfpack a 16-point lead. O'Brien has not found the target with that one, but it's a good performance for Toronto Wolfpack in this first 40 minutes. They've been asked the questions by Sheffield, but 4 tries in that first period as Ashton Sims barks out the instructions have put Brian McDermott's men in control at the interval. 18 points to 4 they lead, 4 tries to 1. Plenty of work for Mark Ashton's men to do second half. Half-time score here at New River Stadium. Toronto Wolfpack 18, Sheffield 4.
That was an absolute wicked kick, that.
ISAs enable tax-free returns, but in uncertain times it's easy to do nothing and lose out. There is another way. Secure your allowance now with a Nutmeg Stocks and Shares ISA. Choose to invest it all or drip feed your cash into the markets. Pick a risk level, and our experts will manage a global investment portfolio to help your ISA take off. Invest today at nutmeg.com.
What have these 2 fun lovers got in common? Yes! They traded in their games and gadgets at sex. Money! So now Ken can give little Ken the birthday he deserves. And with a shed load of sweet cashola, Ruben can finally water ski from a ruddy shark. We can't tell you how to spend your money. We can buy your games and gadgets. Sex.
Did you know the same hotel room can have many different prices? That's why TripAdvisor searches more than 200 booking sites to find the lowest price on the hotel you want. Your perfect hotel room for the perfect price. TripAdvisor. Visit tripadvisor.co.uk or download the app.
10 heavy objects hanging on the wall. 10 heavy objects hanging on plasterboard. And if one heavy object should accidentally fall...
It's not going to happen if they're fixed with Grip It. Grip It means anyone can hang heavy stuff on plasterboard, from flat screen TVs to kitchen cabinets, and be sure they stay hung.
No heavy objects will accidentally fall.
Look for the complete Grip It hanging kits, available at selected DIY and trade retailers nationwide.
John, simple low. Monigetheth, Kelly's honeycomb crunch, and Guala Blaz. Totally kooky Oz.
Raggle there, if you want to draw the dead. Although, Kelly's clotted cream will blaz unbeatable.
Rag and Nick, Resin Revolts, chocolate brownie, salted caramel, and Fleckerson Henwell.
Absolutely burning! Kelly's, Cornish for ice cream.
Can I help you? Stop!
Just cleaning.
Again?
Oh, I'll come back later.
What are you doing?
See, hear and speak to anyone on your property from anywhere. Make your home more secure with Ring's motion-activated floodlight cam.
Hey, Mikey.
My phone.
It's behind the chair.
Thank you.
Have fun.
Visit ring.com or get yours at selected retailers. Ring. Always home.
There is going to be a war. A war against Agatha, who killed my mother in order to be queen. And a war between brothers. You have a choice. Fight alongside me, or I will kill you. Now I can die.
Vikings returns Tuesday the 16th of April on History. They've passed it wide. He's still going. Oh, he's lost the ball.
Welcome back to New River Stadium, where at half-time Toronto Wolfpack are in control against the Sheffield Eagles in this top three clash in the Betfred Championship. 4 tries to 1 in that first period, but 2 tries right at the end of that first 40 have put Brian McDermott's men in control at half-time. Let's have a look at the best moments of that first period then, in the company of Tony Ray and Jody Cunningham alongside me.
It was a game which needed some control, and Sheffield, when they did add some control, it really put some pressure on the Toronto outside backs, really took it to them. It was important to go to that kicking game, and they showed some real tenacity in holding up a number of times, on a number of occasions, players over the line. All of them, you can see as a team, they were scrambling and fighting hard. But then the opportunities did come. Fair play to Toronto. They had the class, they had the poise to take the moments when they did get down the other end. Wilkin was outstanding in feeding Macrome. O'Brien was the guy that was really delivering the killer punch, and he was handing on to Chase Down. He was having a wow of a game out on the right edge. But this, Jody, this Sheffield team, they just kept fighting, didn't they?
Yeah, they did keep fighting, and you could see that by on the defence how many tries they did hold up, which was, you know, it was brilliant defence from them. You could see Latelli there was a real danger man on the outside with Russell. You know, he gets the arm free and he feeds Russell for that try. We again see him shifting right to left. And there it is, that one-handed offload. Russell exactly where he needs to be, and it's just a touchdown for him. Again, then Sheffield spreading the ball, and it's that really, really hard line off that lead that we see. Yep, and here it is. Yep, and there it is. That no stopping that on that line. It's real key point there, where it's just giving Sheffield that real go-to on that edge, and I think that's what they need to then come back to again. Exactly,
they needed to. They had their moments. We saw this kick. It was interesting that when we think they were maybe kicking to the wrong line. So Toronto were untidy in places, and off the back of that, a little bit unlucky with the 2 lines on the field from the kicking game. We saw 3 or 4 different errors going through there. But from all that rigid, tough defence, all the fighting they'd done, Sheffield, eventually at the back end of the half, it wore them out. And all of a sudden, Toronto just found a power game, were able to push out from Damien, find these little offloads, and be able to squeeze their way over for late killer blows. It was one of those ones where it's Fash with his power running at the line. There was just, you can see they're fighting hard there, the black jersey Sheffield, but it was just too much in the end. So it was a bit like win the game early, score the points later a little bit for Toronto, that they powered their way through the half, and it was very good for them. They're 55% possession to Toronto, so they have dominated the game. Completion rates were nice from Sheffield. Missed tackles made were even. A few too many there for Sheffield on the missed tackle count.
We can see the errors there that are even, and there has been unforced errors on both sides, and I think Sheffield really can't afford to have them errors, and Toronto are getting away with it a little at the minute because they've got that talent on the outside backs that they're going to, and the penalties again, you see the 4-3 penalties, so that is again pretty even across the board. Sheffield are still in this. You can see that Toronto have got that punch on the edge, which Sheffield are maybe lacking or struggling to deal with on the edge. And I think Glover did really well defensively, but then if you scramble and you do 2 or 3 scrambles on a row, they're always then going to get on top of you, and I think Akers took advantage of that at 9 as soon as there was a bit of scramble.
So Sheffield Eagles trail at half-time for the 5th time in the last 6 championship games. However, they've only lost 1 of those matches, so plenty of positives for Mark Aston at the break. Matty Russell, incidentally, the 2nd championship player to score 10 tries in 2019. He trails witness Ryan Ince at the top of the scoring charts, 12 by 2. Half-time at New River Stadium, Toronto Wolfpack in control. Brian McDermott's men lead by 18 points to 4.
That was an absolute wicked kick, that.
Abduction, human trafficking, chronic illness, and violent abuse are just some of the horrors facing children like Mira, who survive here every day, vulnerable and in danger. As night falls, these dangers multiply. Your donation could provide a place where these children can eat, sleep, and look forward to a safer future. £2 a month is all we're asking for. Many more children around the world desperately need our help. This is Selima, Razia, Zara, Noj, Shaj, Mihak, and Maya. Every 10 minutes a child goes missing. Please call 0800 055 7901 to give as little as £2 a month and help provide a safe place for children like Mira.
This is food freedom. It's the freedom to get comfortable when your food's delivered. To nick a chip or defend it. Order what you want, where you want,
I'm vegan!
when you want. Deliveroo, food freedom.
It's not the most romantic of first date places, the high street, after school, but we shared chips and he gave me the battered bits. And when he finally asked me to be his girlfriend, I said, yeah, that's cool.
The clock is ticking, the days are passing, and the running begins. It's time, the must win, can't lose. Every point matters kind of football. The pressure will crush some, but for others, it will inspire.
Hoping, praying, daring to believe it's not over yet. Special players produce special moments, find a way to win. That is breathtaking!
Take your seat for the running, live on Sky Sports.
Welcome back to New River Stadium, where Toronto Wolfpack have in control at 18 points to 4 at half-time, closing in on an 8th win from 9 in the Betfred Championship. And 2 late tries, 2 in 2 minutes from Tom Olberson and Andy Akers at the back end of that first half have really given Sheffield something of a mountain to climb. 18 points to 4, though. Only the top 3, 2 of the top 3 in this division, of course, as Brian McDermott comes out to take his seat for this second period. He will be well aware of the threat posed by Sheffield Eagles. There's 2 points between the sides before kick-off, so plenty for Toronto still to do. And Mark Aston, he knows his side are in great form in the league. 6 wins from 7 will not be fazed by this. Looking to defeat the Wolfpack for the first time, having endured home and away losses last year. But it's Toronto who are closing in on 2 more points just now. Latest elsewhere to lose 8 points to 2 up with 8 minutes to go there. So Toronto will be desperate to get the 2 points as they try and fend off their rivals for top spot in the Betfred Championship. Gareth O'Brien not too successful with the boot in that first half, but he will not be too concerned about that. 18 points to 4, the Wolfpack ahead, 4 tries to 1, 2 in 7 minutes from Chase Stanley and Matty Russell, and then right at the end of that first period, 2 in 2 minutes from Tom Alverson and Andy Ackers have put Brian McDermott's men in control as they close in on a 3rd win over Sheffield. The 3rd home game this season. Toronto, this is a home fixture for them. They defeated Widnes 30 points to 6 at Kingston Park. Beat Batley 34 points to 12. That was at Hull Kingston Rovers. And now they're ahead at New River Stadium, home of the London Scholars. It's Sheffield who have the ball first up in this second period, the impressive Joel Farrell with that carry. Alverson puts the shoulder in. The ball's been stolen, has it? Certainly Sadiq Adibayi thinks it has. The referee agrees.
And a good look at that one, the referee. It did seem like Alverson was on him for a long time, which probably went against him in the referee's view. And this becomes an important time for the Sheffield team. They failed to score points, although they were dominant early in the first half. They need to convert these dominant positions into points or repeat sets in this half.
Ben Halliwell played the ball. Raking pass from Davey. The runner there was Joel Farrell, Jamaican international. Davey. Here is Sadiq Adibayi now. Former Broncos Academy skipper. On familiar soil, just 5 metres away from the line. Thackeray. But it's been picked off by Ricky Latelli, and Latelli has Russell with him. Got confused momentarily there, the two of them. I think if Latelli had continued on his line, Russell might have been clear. As it is, Russell has the ball now, gives it to Lussick. Can they still manage to get over for another try here, Toronto Wolfpack? Andy Ackers. This is Brad Fash, impressive in that last 5 or so minutes in the first half when he entered the field. Inching closer to the opening try of the second period. Wilkin. That was Wallace. O'Brien comes back this way. Knowles, Brown in the tackle there for Sheffield Eagles. Ackers. Wilkin. Brad Fash again. His second carry this sequence. Adibayi stops him. That's Wilkin again. Wallace. Has Wallace seen a gap? Not only has he seen the gap, he's gone through the gap. And within 3 minutes of the restart, Toronto extend their lead. Blake Wallace. 7 tries now for 2019. 7 tries for the championship. 7 in his last 7 as well, after a double in the win at Halifax. And the perfect start to the second half for Brian McDermott.
Yeah, it was an intercept from Latelli. When the Sheffield team was down on the line, they had all slow play the balls, and that enabled Latelli to get up and see it defensively, pluck the intercept out. And this man Wilkin's been on the ball all day. He's been sitting there out the back every time, fast powering through. When they got some power in the rucks, Wilkin's been able to see the game a lot easier. Feeds an easy ball out to Wallace, and Wallace just rolls over for what's an easy try. And you just felt there's a bit of physical dominance just starting to happen to creep in. We saw it back end of the first half, and I think we saw a little bit of that in the defence on the line of the Toronto side. They're just starting to dominate this game physically.
Mentioned Gareth O'Brien's in different form with the boot in that first 40, and it is a change of kicker, so Blake Wallace will try his hand now to try and extend this lead. No mistake from Blake Wallace, and so it is a 20-point cushion now for Toronto. Brian McDermott's men lead by 24 points to 4.
Like you say, Tony, it was slow play of the balls on that line. They weren't quick enough at getting off and getting the ball played, and that gave Latelli the time to take that intercept and get them upfield into great field position. And then as soon as they were in that position, you've got such danger men on the outside that it meant that the defence has to push and has to push out, which is creating them gaps, and Wallace went straight through for the try there.
Here is Darcy Lussick now for the Wolfpack.
Hold, boys. Hold, go.
They will know that the job isn't done yet. And that's the perfect start as Alberson carries strongly again.
Go.
Some space on the short side for Wallace, brings in Latelli, that's brilliant. Gets O'Brien back on the inside. And now Mullally.
Oh, they're enjoying it now, aren't they? They're physical, they're charging. They're seeing the game themselves. They're seeing the ruck, they're running with Ackers. Gareth O'Brien looked like he's really enjoying this game. On the ball now, looks like he's really enjoying playing in this team.
Sorry, Tony, here is Andrew Dixon trying to find the line. Desperate defence from Miller, stops him.
Tackle 4. Wait, Andrew, wait.
Still this Toronto onslaught will continue, though. McCrone, O'Brien, Alberson.
5, Anthony, move!
Last one.
Go.
Andy Ackers. Wilkin. Pops the ball over the top. Brad Fash loses his feet, but loses the tackler as well. He's still going, Brad Fash. Can he get the ball away? Ball does come free. 0 tackle. And Guzdeck finds Joel Farrell. Where the Mark Aston would be wanting him to be passing the ball in that situation under this pressure.
Play on.
Farrell's been really busy all day. I think he's been one of Sheffield's best, especially going forward, and he's involved in pretty much every tackle. We've seen, again, they've given away a penalty there, which is going to give Sheffield some good field position. They need to get a good quality kick, get right up downfield, and they can take advantage of Toronto here. All around the ruck there, it's definite penalty.
Yeah, he just has to roll off in there, doesn't he? He deserved to be penalised for that. He actually intentionally jumped back on his back, so good refereeing.
The vastly experienced Josh McCrone, the guilty party, over 150 NRL appearances for Canberra and St George Illawarra.
1, move! Hold here. Hold.
Does the ball
go.
Come out there? Referee happy. Oliver Davis, it was.
2, move, Blake! Go.
Davey. Sniping run from him, gets the Thackeray in turn now is Joel Farrell. Try against Brian McDermott. Joel Farrell as Jamaica lost to the USA back in 2015.
Hits you in the back of the ruck.
McDermott, the American coach, of course. And now Brad Fash. Interference in the ruck, and Sheffield had the penalty. That's what he thinks of the decision, but Sheffield in a really good position now. 7 minutes gone, second half, trailed by 20. They need something on the board quickly. Knowles at the line for Thackeray.
1, move, Blake!
Wallace comes up with the tackle to put Davis on the ground. Mullally, the Devil's own job there to bring Adebayo to ground.
It was a good hold-up. It's slow. It's coming down here again. We mentioned it the last time that Sheffield come down. They're just getting in, holding the ball. Thackeray looks like he's taken one in the chest by the look of that. But just been a slow play of the balls down there, and the physical ability of Mullally to hold that play up. Just so important. We mentioned a couple of times that bench has been impressive. The hit on. Yeah, that is a erring on the later side, that one.
It was a bit late, and I think it was that ball last time that the Sheffield try was a late Thackeray pass deep in the line to Davies, so I think they're definitely making sure that he knows the defence is there for Toronto and that he's not going to do that again.
Brad Knowles plays the ball. Now Adebayo trying to use his strength to get over. There's 3 there. O'Brien, Ackers, Mullally, stop the threat. Davies, pass.
Okay.
Does well, Ryan Miller to collect that. A bullet from Guzdeck.
Move. Here. Go.
This now, Walker puts boot to ball, but it's easy for Gareth O'Brien.
Yeah, it's hard for these halves here, without boring everyone to death. When Sadiq goes to the line there and gets held up all the time, it's just slowing everything down. It's just too hard for the Sheffield team to play. I think it's intentional from Toronto. It's another thing worth looking at is John Wilkins, third man in defence, down in that line. He keeps going in and locking up the play. It's almost like locking up a rugby union maul the way he goes about it, and he's having a real positive influence on the defensive sets for this powerful now Toronto side. This bloke Fasher's had a fantastic influence out on that right edge. You can see they're moving forward over the advantage line, doing it as a team. Wilkins reading there what Acker's doing. You can see see if they can get some dominance out of the kick on this play.
Wilkin rocked by the tackle of Adebayo. The kick is a high one and a tester. Guzdeck does really well under that and manages to get the ball away as well. That was brilliant. Now on the back of that, Ryan Miller with some space. Man down in back play for Sheffield Eagles.
I can't, mate. I can't. He's here.
And the referee stops play sensibly. Shame for Sheffield. They did have some momentum, but you can understand what the official's done there.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Sheffield. They had a really great break there. I think Ryan Miller did brilliant to take that offload off Guzdeck and really go upfield. And they were in a good position, and the Toronto defence was a bit scrambled there. They had a good go forward, but I think referee did the right call there. They couldn't really carry on play with the injury there to Knowles right in the middle of it.
Brad Knowles in the Steel City for 2019 after 4 years at Featherstone. 3 tries in 24 Rovers appearances last year.
White. White, guys, white. Still there. White.
Just looked like an ankle collision in the background. They could do with the chap with no hair there, Keith Senior, a legend of the Sheffield club. Could do with him going back on the field. He's still very fit. I saw him playing a veterans game the other day there in the yellow shirt, Keith. Terrific player he was. Still a big rooster, isn't he?
Keith Senior and Mark Aston both in that Sheffield side. So memorably defeated Terry O'Connor's Wigan Warriors in the 98 Challenge Cup final. Meanwhile is Ben Blackmore for...
Ben again, did Ben Blackmore sidestep in on the wrong line there? It looked like he had a bit of space and he was tiptoeing down. These 2 lines out on the sidelines have really created some confusion.
Sheffield continue though. Can they get in on the opposite side here? Great ball, and Miller does get in on that opposite side, and there is some hope for Sheffield. Half an hour to go. Ryan Miller with his 8th try of the season. He's equalled his career best total, set over 21 games last year. His 5th season with the Eagles, and a really important try for Mark Aston.
Great to see Ryan Miller score that, because he had made a terrific break when the injury stopped play. And he this time goes outside and collects one down that tram line we've been talking down. Lovely little offload. We see them so much centre to those wingers, the understanding, the space, the timing. Little jink out, left it in one hand, drop it into the awaiting hands of Miller, who's holding terrific shape and runs away and scores. He's been hanging around, sniffing around, looking for that little opportunity, both ends of the field, and he gets rewarded.
2 tries in a week for Ryan Miller. Got one in the defeat in the Cup to Lee. Well, there are 2 more points here. Great kick. Sheffield in double figures. Trail by just 14 points now.
Sheffield did brilliantly here, and I think Glover does well. He gets the ball, and they're marked up. He's McCrone there, straight on, and he just a little bit of footwork, goes onto his outside edge and feeds Miller for an absolutely brilliant offload. Great try, work there by Sheffield, and like you say, Tony, it was great for Miller to get the try there for a great break to start it all off.
The leading try scorer for the Eagles, now on 8 for the season. The Toronto momentum halted. Sheffield trying to pick up possession again.
Touch by Adam Sidlow.
Knock on called, and Sidlow, the man picked out by Matt Rossley.
Shot clock on. Yeah, touch it into him. Touch it into him, mate.
He's touched it into Guzdeck, and so a knock on, and Sheffield have the scrum.
Touches him into the Sheffield player.
Gustek's been really strong under the high ball. I think all of the Sheffield back three have been great under. There's not been too many balls go up, but everything that they've dealt with at the back has been really, really strong. It's just a matter of they've not been quite as inventive and clinical towards the line, but there's definitely positives to take out of this, and they're still in this game.
Ryan Miller tries in 3 successive games now, including that touchdown in the Cup against Leigh. This is Matt James now, the captain for Sheffield Eagles.
Oh, there's 10. Go.
First try scored at the Olympic Legacy Park for Matt James against the Wolfpack. History for him.
James Davies was the right thing to run out. He just doubted himself when he got to the line. I think he had a couple of choices in his mind, and it just made him lose his grip when he went into collision, and the ball comes spilling out. A little bit of costly error because they felt like some momentum had come back. A bit of luck off the kickoff. A couple of powerful runs. Matty James back on the field. They just need to get back in the grind now. Contest in defence.
Chance then for Toronto Wolfpack on that right-hand side, and Hakim Maludi.
Hold, go.
Stopped by Joel Farrell.
2, right move.
Sidlow wrestled to the ground by James. Two real competitors there. They didn't like the attention from each other.
I think he might be a bit unlucky here, Matt James. I think Sidlow's just lost that. Yeah, it was a bit untidy around, but so most tackles are.
Matt James, former Harlequins man, played under Brian McDermott in 2010. Here is Gadwin Springer, though, for Toronto Wolfpack. Manages almost to get over the line, but there's 5 in the defence there to stop him.
On the 10, yep. 2.
Prop in the last 3, played the last 6.
No.
Brad Fash just with possession, stopped by Farrell.
Stand. 3. Go.
Gusdek in there as well. Now it's Wilkin. Not the best pass. Miscommunication there, but O'Brien rescues things and brings in Latelli. But Sheffield have shot out of the line there.
Yeah, lovely defence from Sheffield.
Hold. Go.
One-handed pick-up from Andy Ackers, dummy from Andy Ackers.
Downtown.
Now Josh McCrone, he gets the offload away. Sidlow.
You're offside, yep.
There's an offside call here.
He's offside. Yep. He's offside in front of the play the ball.
Adam Sidlow offside at the play the ball is the verdict here.
Yep.
You can see him to the right of the referee there. Yeah, and he's now he's in play, yeah. The ball's gone past him. He should have stayed out of that, put his hands in the air. He kept himself involved in the play, and the referee was talking to him, fair to the referee. He was trying to warn him, tip him out of it. Can't do any more than that as a referee. Great opportunity, Sheffield.
25 to go.
Hold, go.
Sheffield need to make the most of this. Walker.
Outside.
That's now Gusdek.
Andrew, move! Go in here, hold. Hold, go.
There's Blackmore and now
4.
Joel Farrell.
Don't move! 10 metres, hold. Hold, go. Okay.
Matt James at the line.
Okay.
Thackeray.
1 in there.
Davis.
5. Move! Hold line. Hold.
Stopped by a combination there of Alberson and Wilkin. This is the last one. Thackeray off the boot. Easy in truth, though, for Maludi.
In the middle, Hakim.
And the Hull Loney wastes no time in tapping there on the 20-metre line.
Move.
Wilkin waiting, untidy play of the ball. Dan Hindmarsh in there. Matty Russell powers those legs forward.
On the ball.
He's got him for a ball still there, similar to the last set, but it looked to me like Matty Russell was trying to spin out of that tackle. Let's see if it was a... it already happened before that. As he was trying to play. Here we go. Yeah, I think it's a ball. I think he's just lost that. I think that's 2 in a row. They've been unlucky, Sheffield.
Line, guys, line.
I think that's tough as a defender, isn't it? You go in, you want to hit on the ball, and then if the tackle is spinning out, then there are a tendency for the ball to be released. So it's a tough call there for Sheffield.
Will Toronto exact maximum damage here? Gadwin Springer stopped. Minute away. Ackers. That's Sidlow. So close there, Adam Sidlow. He's got over the line, but held up again.
Yes, there's been a set down there when they haven't been held up. It's been all game. Every time they get down there, Toronto, Sheffield are so tenacious.
Yeah, great defence from the Eagles. How long can they keep them out, though? The impressive Brad Fash in possession. James among the tacklers.
Go.
Ackers. That was Wilkin. This is Springer. Springer against Farrell.
5 and last. McNeil.
Again, shut the door in the nick of time. Dan Hindmarsh it was on the floor. Untidy pass. And immediately Josh McCrone locked up. Last one, remember, he comes back this way.
Okay.
Booming pass for Latelli. And Latelli's found some room. Oh, skipping round from Ricky Latelli.
It's an obstruction. He knew it himself. He danced in behind his own player. We saw the Sheffield players pause straight away. They couldn't get at Latelli. Really unlucky. But when he dances back on his left foot, he goes right in behind. He goes O'Brien, a collision.
You can see O'Brien's trying to do the right thing there as he's trying to support Latelli on the inside, and then that inside steps just took O'Brien out of play. It's unfortunate. It was a try begging there.
So a let-off for Sheffield Eagles. 2 minutes short of the hour mark. 14 points the deficit. They've got to claw this back, Mark Aston's men. Sidlow with the tackle.
Hold. Go.
It's Hindmarsh who played the ball. Former London Scholars and London Broncos player Dan Hindmarsh.
Move, John. He's 10 Adam. Hold. Go.
Playing in the capital this afternoon. Here now, Pat Moran. Alone from the Warrington Wolves. Plays it for Davey. That was Thackeray. Now it's Walker and Farrell. Fash using his weight. Now Walker, Thackeray, crossfield kick off the right boot. Russell rises highest though, and that's a really confident collection there from Matty Russell. Waste no time in launching the counter here either. Here is Latelli.
Daniel, move! Hold, James, hold.
Brilliantly timed tackle there on the full-back Russell. Russell did really well to take it, and then that's what you want from Sheffield, but then they've given away another penalty, which is just taking the pressure off Toronto. It means they're getting in good field position again and get another sniff at the Sheffield line.
Still in a great position to get something out of this match, the Sheffield Eagles, but they can't afford to release the pressure on this Toronto Wolfpack side. Olberson amongst the try scorers in that first half. Now it's Ashton Sims.
Daniel, move! Hold this middle, James.
Brian McDermott on the sideline. McCrone.
Move, Ben! Hold.
Mark Aston prowling down there as well. Wants to see his team back in possession. They've got to repel this first though. O'Brien comes back this way. Stopped by Farrell. James over the top as well. Wilkin from Fash's pass. Drops the ball off for Springer. Inching closer here, Toronto Wolfpack. Might be a decisive try, McCrone. That was Wilkin. O'Brien. Matty Russell looks for the line and finds the line. He sneaks over Matty Russell. Second try. Crucial try for the former Warrington Wolf. Try at Wembley in the 2016 Challenge Cup final defeat to Hull. He scored again in the Capital 2 this afternoon, 11 for the season, and a try that just gives Toronto Wolfpack a little bit of daylight now.
Latelli and Russell are really enjoying playing together. Lovely hands out. Russell scrambles his way over the line. The contact was way before the line, but he managed to get himself over. Wilkin feeds out. Gaz O'Brien's just been wonderful at the back. He just seems to have so much poise and composure, and he's really seeing the game, and Russell's really enjoying playing with these outside backs.
11 now for this season for Matty Russell. Blake Wallace continues with the kicking responsibilities. He's missed that one, but Toronto now out to a 28 points to 10 lead.
Yeah, Toronto have looked so dangerous on that side, and they're shifting it so well right to left. It's been their real danger edge, and Russell does well to get over from the try, but it's O'Brien there out the back. It's that catch pass, and Wilkin in at first receiver allows the halfbacks to get out wider and really feed them edges, and every ball is crisp and in front of them, and that's what you want as an outside back. You just have to finish it off then, and Russell does brilliantly.
Okay.
This is Andrew Dixon now for Toronto. They're going back to the top of the Betfred Championship tonight. No matter what Toulouse do. Of course, opening up a margin on Sheffield as well.
A powerful little debut there from Maludi. Nice little carry. He's been as influential of any of the back three. They'll be really happy with this contribution in this game. We see dummy half here. The bloke at the back picked the ball up. Josh McCrone's gone from scrum half to play hooker now, being dummy half role. I think that'll give Toronto a little bit more balance. Jody mentioned in the first half Wilkin was more a playmaker. McCrone can now run and drag the team out from there, and he does that a little bit effectively. Wilkin on the ball, and more power forwards going at Sheffield late in the game.
Power initially there from Gadwin Springer. The kick is a tester. Gustek does really well underneath that.
One, and a move.
Sidlow's tackle. There's an injury here. Gustek just holding the back of his head. And Sidlow immediately alerted the official to that.
Been busy Miller, hasn't he? Gustek rolling the neck around. Miller's gone in, and he's similar carry to what Blackmore's done there. They're replicating what the Toronto's doing back to them, and they're doing a terrific job using their athleticism to look at this, getting themselves over halfway, winning the ruck, going downfield. Still really in the contest. Real credible performance. The scoreboard's not looking great for them at this point. They are working so hard and powering out. Nice carry.
Makelip.
Move.
3 World Cup games for the USA. Corey Makelip under Brian McDermott. They renew acquaintances this afternoon. Kick collected by O'Brien. That's a good attacking set there from Sheffield Eagles.
Shot clock on.
Yeah, Sheffield will be really happy with that, and Miller's defence there is brilliant on O'Brien. He had nowhere to go, and this is what Sheffield will want. They've got enough time on the clock to bring this back. If they stay composed, no more unforced errors, and tackles like that is definitely the start of it. I think Sheffield look up for it, and Toronto look like they're tiring.
Would you think they'd have to score in this set, Jody, given that little bit of momentum swing there? Is it as stressful as that at this point?
I think it's important. They're in good field position. They've got a repeat set, and it's important for them to make something at least finish in a strong position and be able to dominate Toronto.
Pat Moran ramps things up for the Eagles. Perhaps they need to score this set. Davis with the second carry. Makelin waits. That was Hindmarsh, his debut on the line. Big hit there. Ashton Sims charged in there on Joel Farrell. Two of the big men collide, and tempers raised at the New River Stadium.
Time off.
It's a genuine forehand to the chin. It's not on that one.
Let's go,
and
guys.
the after
Okay.
gets him clean.
Joe, just leave it to us, Joe.
Let's just see what the referee does with that one.
More careful, okay?
I'd say to go and report, because he was falling to the ground. There on that side.
Wait.
He classified a cheap shot from that man,
Time
Ashton
back
Sims.
on. Wait. One step, guys, one step. Josh.
No further action from the official. Sheffield Eagles, though, need some action here as Thackeray gets the ball back for Gustek. Comes back to the left-hand side.
Ashton, move!
Sidlow is there.
Hold.
That man Ashton Sims is there. Makelin quickly, though. And now James drives onto that ball.
That's 2.
It's 5 metres away now. Stopped by McCrone. They need something here, Sheffield. Inside the last 15 minutes. Makelin with the pass. It's not the best. Does really well there. I think it's Pat Walker who collects under real pressure there from Andrew Dixon to keep this attack alive. Here now, Pat Moran can't get the ball away. Had a runner from Hindmarsh. They're closing in on 4 crucial points here, though. Sheffield Eagles camped under the posts. That's Thackeray's kick, it's not the best. Natelli is there, comfortable for him.
It was actually a drop there, Ben, I think, with Thackeray. It looked like he was in his mind whether to kick or not. I think let's have a look. I think he loses control of this ball. Yeah, it never comes off his knees. It looked like a kick from where we were. There was a genuine fumble and a knock on. They'd be really disappointed with that. That was the one that that was the set they were after. They were building through it. You've probably got to say, I'm boring again to say the speed of the play of the ball was too slow, so Toronto could just see all those things coming, and Thackeray could really feel the pressure coming on him from the defenders.
Thackeray Super League experience with Hull FC, Castleford and Widnes.
2. Anthony, move!
He makes that tackle there on Hakeem Maloudi, who was impressed on his Wolfpack debut. Yet to find the score sheet, though. Under 14 minutes to remedy that. Meanwhile, O'Brien finds Dixon, and Dixon keeps going. What a threat he is in this Toronto Wolfpack side.
He's done a good job to go out to the centre. When Chase Stanley hurt his ankle at half-time, he's done a terrific job to fill in there.
What a ball from Sidlow, and now Springer with some room. Gladman Springer just trying to bump off the tacklers. Really important tackle from Pat Walker downstairs. Last one, McCrone. Now Wallace. Wallace for O'Brien, and O'Brien skips back inside, and O'Brien has found the line, has he? It's over the line.
Change over, boys, on the 10.
Held up again. I think that is absolute brilliant effort there from the Sheffield defence. That's showing exactly how much they want this. They really feel like they're still in this game, and it's tackles like that that's going to keep them in it.
Take a bow, Ben Halliwell.
Move! Hold 10. Hold, go.
12 to go. Sheffield desperate for points.
2.
Desperate for territory. They've got possession, though. Olberson with the tackle. Pat Moran.
3.
Repelled by 3. Brad Fash among them, Wilkin among them.
Hold, go. Okay, that's okay, no.
Give it some air now, and Thackeray's pass. Not going to leave this one wondering, Sheffield Eagles.
Here in the middle. Hold,
Halliwell.
Go.
That was Blackmore. Thackeray. Brad Knowles. I beg your pardon, it's sent down Hindmarsh.
Go.
Now Thackeray just punches the ball over the sideline. Is that enough from a Sheffield point of view?
No, I don't get that. I don't get why you're not looking for some form of attacking kick there. He seems tired. Since he took the couple of late hits, he's stopped running the ball a little bit and lost a little bit of game management. Thackeray, he's a really good player, terrific player. Guides his team around. He's taken this team up to number 3 in the ladder, and he's had a strong game there, and sometimes you just get put off your games. This is the physical assertion that Toronto have put on.
Josh, head in.
Puts a little bit of doubt in the playmakers' minds.
Shot clock off. Out!
It's very windy here. You know, you just think a high ball, a swirly ball, anything just to make a bit of luck, rather than drop one into touch.
Go.
Whatever does happen here, Sheffield giving a better account of themselves, at least so far. They, remember, lost both clashes last year, 44 points to 10 and 68 points to 4, but they're still in this contest with 10 to go. Toronto, though, in possession. This is Dixon.
4. Move, James! Hold. Go.
McCrone. That was Sidlow and Wilkin. Wallace. O'Brien. Latelli. Again, that step back inside. No obstruction this time. Last one. That's Blake Wallace with the kick under pressure. Left-footed. Caught well by Guzdek. What's the Sheffield counter like? Have some support.
Yeah, the Toronto kick chase there just didn't seem to be anywhere near. He had all the time in the world, and we've seen that without the pressure, he's great under that high ball, and he's just going to continue with that, and that's going to give Sheffield confidence. When you take that first ball and you can do what you want from full-back and get your team on the front foot, that gives you confidence for the rest of the set, and Sheffield are now taking it to Toronto.
Eagles with Moran. McCrone and Sidlow initially with the tackle on his opposite number. Thackeray back on the inside. Guzdek faced by Sims. Floats a ball over the top. They need to do something. Ryan Miller can't get through the tackle though. Maludi. Kick up in the air from Walker. O'Brien in the right place inevitably.
Come on.
To finish this game off well, Ben, the Toronto side, they're walking, they're not behind the ball. Matty Russell's shown a bit of energy. Their last set was very poor, and it resulted in a poor kick chase. They played too deep. I want to watch them closely here to see if they can get over the advantage line, power here, drive through their rucks, be quick.
Don't get lazy, Ollie. Go.
Otherwise, it's not the good signs that they should be after in a game like this. Again, it's not doing enough there. They're not really powering and flowing well together. That's a better carry. Now they're over the advantage line.
It was Malali. O'Brien thought about the offload to Latelli. Olberson thought that was forward.
I mentioned previously about the fitness of the Toronto side that we've seen throughout the season, and they look the most tired at the moment. Sheffield look like they've got all the energy in the world. They're putting pressure on, and that's why we're seeing mistakes from Toronto. And if they carry on this way, you can see Sheffield getting some late tries in this game.
Might be ahead in this match, but plenty for Brian McDermott to ponder as he goes forward in this championship season. On course to stay on top of the pile, and that's the main thing. Dan Hindmarsh let no one down on his Sheffield debut. Makelin. Thackeray. That was Walker. Wilkin makes the tackle there on Glover. Some space for Ben Helliwell. Alderson with the tackle. And now Blackmore. In a good position here, Sheffield.
Anthony, move! Hold the line.
Couple of opportunities left here. They need to make the most of them. Just 10 metres away. That was Thackeray with a short ball. Play on, says the referee. Another kick from Thackeray. Maloudi's underneath it. Can they force him back?
Second man in. He's in late.
He's given a penalty for a second man in. He said the tackle was completed on Maloudi. Let's have a look if it's right. He's over the line. He's saying the tackle's completed there. That's a tough call again. Again, you can see what the referee was seeing. He saw a ball. He thought it was placed over the line. He thinks that the second Sheffield defender has come in and forced Maloudi in goal. God, the energy, awesome energy there from Sheffield even to do that. And they've shown some great energy in defence in the last two sets. Really good sign for the way this team's building through this competition. Look at the line up there. The black shirts are charging up together, hitting hard, racing back with great energy into the line. Really taking it to the Toronto side, who wanted it a bit easier than this at the back end, and they're not having it.
Good offload from Sidlow, for McCrone. Wilkin for Dixon. Andrew Dixon trying to punch a hole in the Sheffield defence, but Walker, the man who brings him to ground. Here is Wilkin again, busy. Gives it to Wallace. Wallace does a beautiful dummy. Blake Wallace. Oh, what footwork from Blake Wallace. And Wallace is under the posts. Blake Wallace with his second try of the afternoon. And that was a classic. Wallace makes it 8 for the season in the championship. And that really was a champagne moment for those Canadian fans and the Toronto Wolfpack. They're going back on top of the championship in style tonight. Smiles on the face of Blake Wallace.
I think we're about to enjoy an outrageous dummy. Watch this one here. Big over pump. Matty James has switched off on the inside. He was tired. Wallace sensed it. Hit the accelerator off the Wilkin pass. Hits the accelerator. Big dummy. Floats on through. A heck of a feeling. And a reward for some great energy at the back end for this man, Blake Wallace.
And try and improve his own touchdown here, Blake Wallace. From right in front. No mistake. And Toronto out to a 34 points to 10 lead now.
Absolutely fantastic there from Wallace, and you could see it's the run from Sidlow, the Sheffield defence, just push off, expecting that ball, and Sidlow's been busy all day, and he's been really tough for Sheffield to handle, which is why he's trying to get 2 men in on him, which opens up that little half a gap for Wallace, who takes advantage, and a great step there on Guzdeck, who's been brilliant for the Sheffield side, but too much for him to handle there with that step from Wallace.
Yeah, Josh Guzdeck really could only stand and admire, really, just a rueful look on the fullback's face.
Move! Hold, hold, go!
Mullally. 6th consecutive appearance on the bench for the former Leeds man.
2 goes.
Penalty goes his way as well.
Well, he earned that one, didn't he? He just kept his legs pumping, he kept driving, he threw the challenge at them. In the end, they went for that second shove on the line, and it was a genuine penalty.
Line, guys, line.
Davies was frustrated. Mullally was dominating.
Been a good week for Blake Wallace. Back-to-back doubles for him. He got 2 against Halifax last time out, and 2 in the capital. That was a cracker. Here is Mullally.
2. Head move! Oh my. Hold. Hold, go.
McCrone, Wilkin, that's Wallace. Could be another try here. O'Brien tries to throw a dummy, Wallace style. Halliwell wasn't buying it. There is Blake Wallace. And Wilkin turns the ball back for Ashton Sims. On the bounce from Wilkin for Fash this time. Has to stand up Farrell.
4. Head move! Go.
Enjoying themselves, Toronto Wolfpack. Is there more pain as far as Sheffield are concerned? Darcy Lussick, the man shut down. McCrone, Wilkin, Wallace, looking for a hat-trick, puts the boot to ball this time. Sidlow, referee says play on. Sidlow says thank you very much. Sidlow puts the ball down, and Sidlow gets another try for Toronto Wolfpack. Doubles his tally for 2019. It's been a comfortable second half in truth for Toronto Wolfpack. And those 2 tries late in the first period really did the damage. And the latest now from Sidlow.
I think he surprised himself as much as anything there, Sidlow. He was just working downstream, have a little look around. He'd done a support line. The ball just bounced up and found him. The open line, he planted it down. As you can see, he's enjoying that, trying to make out as a big offload. I did something amazing that. Doing a couple of lies to his teammates there, mate. The ball bounced up and you just put it down. Could have done it with his eyes shut.
All smiles for Toronto. 8th win in 9. As Wallace adds 2 more points. It's 40 now for Brian McDermott's men in the capital.
Sheffield looked deflated in that last set then. I think they'd put everything in, they'd really raised the game with the intensity, and then that Wallace try where he went through, I think, really deflated him. You could see it in that set, and then, you know, Sidlow for the ball to bounce up so perfectly for him and put that down. I think Sheffield definitely looked down. They just need to make sure they finish strong now in this last couple of minutes.
You'd be happy with that, Brian McDermott. He squeezes every ounce out of his teams, and he's done a wonderful job of putting this group together and playing to their strengths. The outside backs have been outstanding. His bench have been superb, and they're still running at it now. This man Latelli, Russell outside him. He's been dominant all game.
Hold. Go.
Latelli played the ball for McCrone. Here's the latest try scorer, Sidlow.
Move, Sidney. Pat, you got to hold. Go.
The 9th Toronto try scorer, Darcy Lussick now.
Move here.
Brown with the tackle.
Leave it, Darcy. Leave it.
Darcy Lussick didn't like it. Frustration from Sheffield on the wrong end of this scoreline. They've competed hard, particularly in that opening 40. Or certainly the opening 36 minutes of this game.
Pep. Bike. Penalty here.
Pretty obvious to see there if you looked at the hands, but just stayed on. Last week he was frustrated. Referee had no option other than to penalise.
Mark Aston
Here we are, guys.
can be proud of his team's efforts. They've contained Toronto for large periods of this game. Probably don't deserve a 30-point margin. As the hooter goes, Malani in possession, trying to stretch out and get another one. That would have been cruel on Sheffield. As it is, they've been beaten comprehensively by 8 tries to 2. 9 tries to 2, 8 tries to 2 in fact, and Brian McDermott, a satisfactory performance from him. John Wilkin just orchestrated things as he does, and Toronto have conceded or inflicted Sheffield's record for this season in terms of tries conceded. They've conceded 8 for the first time in 2019. Adam Sidlow among those try scorers in that second half. Doubles for Matty Russell and for Blake Wallace, who scored a sensational 4-pointer as the penultimate touchdown. Darcy Lussick not among the try scorers, but a great display from him. And we can get some reaction now from downstairs to another comprehensive Toronto display. They've gone back on top of the table, and Matty Russell is downstairs with Jenna Brooks.
Yeah, thanks very much, Ben. Matty Russell, Toronto winger, a brilliant win today. How important was it to get the win, given Sheffield are hot on your heels?
Yeah, we had a weekend off last week, so we had time to refresh. So it was important to get back to business this week, and to come up with that performance was brilliant for us.
And of course, you and Ricky Latelli, outstanding on that left wing. You scored 2 tries, taking your try tally to 11 for the season.
Yeah, I've said it before, he just puts me into the plate really a lot of times. But yeah, he's electric on that left edge with me, so it's good to have him inside of me.
Now at times this season, Toronto have been tested. At times in this game today, they really tested you too.
Yeah, definitely. Sheffield were up there, I think they were sitting in third, similar points to us. So we knew we had to come here and obviously get that 2-point margin on the other teams this week, so it was important we turned up here with a win.
Matty Russell, congratulations. We can now bring in Brian McDermott. Brian, congratulations on the win. How important was it to get the points today, given Sheffield a third in the table, and before today they'd only lost 1 game?
Yeah, I think we just summed that up pretty well. That's pretty important. We want to be in a position where we give ourselves some breathing space, you know, so we don't have to win absolutely every single game, every minute of every game. And so far this year, it's been an incredibly tough competition for us. We see the best of every opposition, and while the scoreline started to go our way towards the back end of that game, Sheffield never went away. You know, their defence is great, and that was a tough whole game. I don't like playing on the plastic pitches as well, and if you're going to play on these plastic pitches, it needs to be a really high specification, or else the game just becomes too fast, and 115 kilo blokes don't like landing on, you know, what seems to be concrete. So all things considered, it's a game on the road for us, and I think we've handled the weekend pretty well. And some challenges there in that game. As I say, Sheffield were quality, and it's a really pleasing scoreline in the end.
Brian McDermott, congratulations on the win. We can now speak to Mark Aston. We will just bring him in, the Sheffield Eagles head coach. Mark, it wasn't the result you were after, but still your players showed plenty of character today.
Oh, loads of positives for us. We got beat by a team that were clinical, and what I'd say is I think they scored 4 or 5 tries on the last play options, so we've got a bit of work to do on that, but the boys give me everything they've got, and you know, the scoreline, I guess, is a little bit disappointing, but as you say, there's plenty of effort.
And definitely at times your players showed that Toronto are not invincible.
Oh, they're not, and you know, I'm disappointed with the score at the end at 40 points to 10, because I thought it could have been a lot closer. It would have just been a little bit more disciplined in that end. But yeah, they're not invincible. They can be beat, and you know, there's good teams in this competition, so it's going to be tough for them.
Mark Aston, thank you for talking to us.
Mark Aston agreeing that Toronto not invincible, and they've been made to work for this victory. We can see some of the highlights of that now.
And they took some of the great opportunities. Telly put him in great field position. Blake Wallace found an incredible ability to find little seams through this with a little dummy, ball out in two hands through this Sheffield defence. He just cut his way through a couple of times in this half, which were telling. The man for Sheffield that was outstanding on the day was Miller out on this left wing, and he got on the back of this pass, having set the team up with this field position, and raced in and scored a lovely try for Sheffield, and a deserving one, I thought, Jodie, for Miller.
Yeah, definitely. Miller was definitely one of the best for Sheffield today, and he scored that try really well, and his break to set it up was fantastic. I think then we see the ball come out right to left again. That edge that was dominant, and Russell to score on the edge, I think really took the wind out of Sheffield's sails. They were just really clinical with that passing, O'Brien involved in everything, and Russell doing really well to finish.
We saw Wallace sneak through before, he was mentioned through the seams. Have a look at this outrageous dummy now. Big dummy, through he goes, tired defence in front of him. He has to sense that. He has to feel that, and he has to be ready to explode. So when he gets this ball, he senses the guys inside him are A, looking at an attacker on the outside, and B, a little bit tired. Throws the dummy. It was wonderful for him. And then at the end, the big prop, Sidlow, who'd been outstanding, stumbled over the line. It would have been harder not to score that one than to score at the position he was in, but he found the ball in his hands, pushing through, bad bounce, gets on over the line and scores. Let's have a look at some of the stats from the game. In what was a reasonably tidy, in many ways, performance from Sheffield, 25 out of 33, but the possession was telling. 60% to Toronto. If you go 4 lines down, tackles made 140 for Sheffield, 125.
It's interesting as well that completion rate from Sheffield's actually better than the Toronto side, but the Toronto were really shipping it, using the edges, and took advantage of that, really.
So a comfortable win in the end for Toronto Wolfpack, 40 points to 10, doubles for Matty Russell and Blake Wallace. 8 tries to 2 in favour of the Toronto Wolfpack as Brian McDermott's men go back on top of the Betfred Championship. They are now 2 points clear ahead of Toulouse, with Sheffield now 2 points adrift of Toulouse in that 3rd spot. So very much mission accomplished as far as Brian McDermott and Toronto Wolfpack are concerned. They stay 2 points clear at the top of the Betfred Championship. Next scheduled appointment for the Wolfpack, they go to Featherstone Monday, April the 22nd. Again in the Betfred Championship. You can catch that one live with us. Check your local listings. Featherstone against Toronto next up for Brian McDermott and the Toronto Wolfpack. But here at the New River Stadium in London, they have dispatched the Sheffield Eagles down to 8 wins. They're back on top of the Betfred Championship. From all of us here at the New River Stadium, it's goodbye.
It gets passed out wide to the right. They're still going. Takes it cleanly. He's passed it back inside. I think he's got it. And he's over for the try.
The Ryanair seat sale is here. Get up to 20% off your next holiday. Ryanair. More choice, low fares, great care.
Hello.
Here's your package. Finally. Surprise! Stop! Your pizza. Yes, Mum. Can I help you?
See, hear and speak to whoever's at your door from anywhere. Enjoy the convenience and peace of mind of the Ring Video Doorbell.
Hey man, it's me.
Sorry, Paul, I'm on holiday.
Okay, have fun.
Thank you.
Visit ring.com or get yours at selected retailers.
Support from Save the Children. Right now, children are arriving in hospitals across Central Africa, undernourished and in desperate need of treatment. Pierre is 4 years old. He should have his whole life ahead of him, but because of a simple lack of nutrition, his body is weak and he is fighting to stay alive.
His condition is critical. He has half of the normal weight for his age.
He needs medicine and he needs therapeutic food urgently.
If Pierre doesn't get basic medicine and therapeutic food, he will die.
Children like Pierre are the reason we're asking for your help. You can help us provide the food and medicine these children need by calling the number on your screen now and giving £2 a month. This small monthly donation could be the reason a child like Pierre survives.
We are doing everything we can, but we need help. We need help.
Please pick up the phone now and call Save the Children on 0800 055 7161 or visit our website. Your £2 a month could help a child like Pierre win their fight to survive.
Hello to you, to her, to him, who love when life and fun just happen. Ibis, we are open.
Do it.
You can do it when you're being Kiewit.
The running continues with 2 crunch games in the race for the top 4 as Everton host Arsenal and Chelsea face West Ham, live on Sky Sports Premier League.
Monaghan cutting a sway that the interesting what the decision is here. Doesn't matter because Carnhurst has got his hat-trick.
St Helens take their 100% record in the Betfred Super League to Southwest France, hoping to regain the leadership in the table by beating the Catalan Dragons. But the Dragons have their own motivation, trying to redeem themselves after a performance that their own coach labelled as disgraceful last time out. It is a wet, chilly day in Perpignan as St Helens take the field, finding themselves in second place going into this game after the Warrington Wolves put 9 tries past the London Broncos. Tom Lynham getting 3 of those to win 48-12, a win that took the wire to the top of the table. Can the Catalan Dragons deny Saints that top spot and in the process end this winning start they have made to the season? Sam Tompkins and the Catalan Dragons have, as we said at the start, plenty of motivation because of that 42-0 defeat suffered at Wigan last time out. And the team news for St Helens is that Johnny Lomax is a late withdrawal from the Saints side. He has gone down with a sickness bug, so 18-year-old Jack Welsby comes in, and with Theo Farge unavailable, Danny Richardson returns to the fold to make his first appearance of the season. The weather's not good. Those late injuries, Brian, maybe just making Saints a bit vulnerable.
I think both of those factors, Bill, play into the hands of the Catalan Dragons, who, as you said, need to respond. Weather should slow the game.
origins. The hassle-free, self-inflating, king-size instant bed that looks and feels like a real luxury bed. No guest room? No problem. At the turn of the built-in switch, the Yawn Air can turn any space in your home into a luxurious, comfortable bedroom in under 5 minutes. The Yawn Air's comfort support sleep technology includes 40 independent thermally bonded support air pillars, which help cradle the natural curves and contours of your body and help support weight evenly, providing exceptional stability and support for all-night comfort. The incredible Yawn Air even has an inflatable premium headboard that provides extra comfort and a stylish finish. And when your guests have gone, it deflates in under 5 minutes. And all you have to do is pack it away in the small compact bag for easy storage. The incredible Yawn Air is like an extra bedroom in a bag. You can even take Yawn Air with you when staying at your friends' or family's for the weekend. Convenience, support, luxurious comfort, and built to last. The Yawn Air won't let you down. Now let's join home design expert Kelly Edwards and TV personality Dean Wilson.
We are so excited to welcome you because you're about to see an incredible way to turn any room in your house into an extra bedroom.
We all want to be good hosts, right? And we all know the importance of a great night's sleep. Well, wouldn't it be great to give your guests and yourself that gift? I mean, who wants to get stuck sleeping on a floor?
Ouch.
Or a couch? And you know, some of those conventional air mattresses could be a fast track to a sleepless night.
But now, there's the Yawn Air. A good night's sleep starts here for you and your guests. This is truly something I believe every home should have.
I mean, this is beautiful, right?
Yeah, it's roomy. Its height is perfect too. In fact, it's double the height of a standard airbed, so it's easy to get in and out of. With the raised anti-roll rim, you won't feel like you're going to roll off. Plus, I've never seen an airbed with a headboard.
I love that.
It looks like a real bed, right?
It looks and it feels like one too. It has such a lovely, soft, velveteen finish and surface.
It feels nicer than my bed at home, and it's built to last and crafted to be tough.
But how tough?
This tough. This is Taka, a heavyweight sumo wrestler from Osaka, Japan. He weighs 178 kilos. That's almost 28 stone. That's one big guy. Now here's Taka on the Yawn Air bed. Just imagine what that could do to a conventional air mattress. But here, as you can see, no problem for the Yawn Air.
That's one tough bed. In fact, the Yawn Air bed has been scientifically tested and proven to withstand high pressure impacts without deflating. If you ask me, that's incredible. The Yawn Air turns any space in your home into a spare bedroom in under 5 minutes.
And don't forget the incredibly impressive technology on the inside.
Now, if you've ever slept on an airbed, you may have noticed that if you have a partner that weighs more than you, every time he moves, you end up getting bounced around. And this definitely can make it a bit difficult to get a decent night's sleep.
Now, Kelly, notice anything?
Honestly, I didn't move, no bounce, no roll, no disturbance.
That's right, and the Yawn Air does that because of the comfort support technology and design. Includes the 40 independent air pillars which help the bed mould to your body shape and also help support weight evenly. Because the pillars stand independently, there's minimal transfer of movement across the bed, so one pillar is not affected by the pressure on the others.
When a person sits down on the yawn bed or moves in the night, the other person in the bed will move too. All this translates to a great night's sleep.
With one easy click of the powerful built-in self-inflating pump, you'll turn any space into a luxurious, comfortable bedroom in under 5 minutes.
Every home should have a Yawn Air bed. When my friends come over, they have a comfortable bed to sleep in, and we actually